There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks. Welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonko table. That is the voice of Grandmaster Hoop coming at you from the Imperial Star Destroyer on its way back to the galaxy that we know and love. Because that's right, folks. We're here to talk about Ahsoka. That's right. Star Wars Ahsoka. The latest from the live action Star Wars series on Disney Plus. And dare I say, goodness, it might be just the best of the live action series to date. With me, as always, is fellow Yonko, Dr. J. Saturni. Dr. J. Saturni, Ahsoka. Goodness gracious. A finale. What a finale we just witnessed. Are you team Ahsoka?
The best Star Wars series to date?
I said it.
He cast the first stone. I am Team Ahsoka. I have some thoughts on it. Roller coaster ride throughout all 8 episodes, which I appreciate. I know we've been criticizing some of the other shows of another franchise that tend to be on the shorter end on the 6-episode run, but 8 episodes, clean and nice. Yeah, I'm Team Ahsoka with some catches. It is not the best live action. It is not, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Sure. That's fine. Goodness, we are not alone in our venture to a galaxy far, far away. We have supernovas joining the fun. Let's hear who will be joining us tonight as we deep dive Ahsoka. All right, cool, folks. Now listen, we did not cover the whole series. This is our series take of Ahsoka. Now, of course, we'll be talking about all the highlights of season 1. I guess this is season 1, first of all. And then, of course, with the finale that just aired this evening, we'll be definitely, I'm sure, have a lot of thoughts on that and where the series will go from there. But with that said, here we are, Ahsoka, the 5th live-action Star Wars series. Can you believe we're 5 live-action series in Star Wars, which one is crazy. And at center stage here is Ahsoka, which a lot would call the love baby of Dave Filoni and George Lucas. Oh, what do you mean? That's what she is.
I guess. Is that the best comparison? Who carried Ahsoka to term?
Who carried Ahsoka the term?
To term.
Oh.
Who developed her and
Who
brought her?
It's a Filoni baby, for sure.
So Filoni incubated Ahsoka.
Yeah, they say George Lucas, the Skywalkers, that's his. That's his big Jedi familial name, claim to fame in Star Wars. Ahsoka is rightfully Dave Filoni's. And then, as far as the Ahsoka series goes, it serves many pieces. I would say it serves as, a continuation of several Star Wars series, animated and live action, a new chapter within this Filoni-verse, as they are now dubbing it, and I would say a brand new direction for the franchise as a whole. But with that said, there's a lot that can be said about Ahsoka. Well, let's just talk about, overall thoughts as far as what did we want going into this series? Where are we coming off of? Some of us are coming off of Mando season 3. Some of us have still sour taste from Boba Fett and shows like Obi-Wan. Where was our heads when Ahsoka was announced? And obviously when it came, where were we prior to the beginning of this series? The floor is open.
So I pretty much like came out of like season 3 Mandalorian, and like I always do this caveat when it comes to Star Wars. I am not a Star Wars fan. I will see like Star Wars and all that, but I am not a fan.
You and
Even
Toasty
though-
would be best friends on this.
But either way, yeah, like I just came out of season 3 of Mandalorian, and yeah, Mandalorian for me still is number 1. Although Ahsoka was really good. Like I really enjoyed Ahsoka. So that's where I was. And I was just expecting something like fantastical, like in the Star Wars universe, that's exciting, but also can be somehow somewhat thought-provoking. And it just lets me see how grand the universe is.
Well, I did not see season 3 of Mandalorian. I did not watch the Obi-Wan series either.
Behind.
Catwoman V.
Listen.
How
so
could you?
I did not need the Obi-Wan series, just like I didn't need the Han Solo movie. I did not care to watch them because I didn't see the point of them. It is what it is. That's where I stand on it. But I am behind on season 3 of Mandalorian. I don't know what happened. Like I missed one episode and then I just never got back to finishing it. So I will do that. I did see Boba Fett, very lackluster, for lots of reasons, and without going on a tangent, I felt like, you know, honestly, that Ahsoka was kind of going to probably be a little mediocre just based off what I had seen of the live action TV series. I thought that they were just going to be giving us kind of like fan service stuff and kind of just like serving it up, banking on the Star Wars name, banking on the fact that she was a beloved character within the Clone Wars series. So I didn't think that the show was going to be terrible. I just didn't think that it was going to be as good as it wound up being. It actually blew my expectations way out of the water. So I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm with Catwoman V on like how I was coming into this series. Cautious optimism. I've been betrayed many a times with Star Wars. Without getting into it, Boba Fett. Yeah, Boba Fett was its own thing, its own demon. Obi-Wan had its ups and downs. Mandalorian season 3, it wasn't bad, but to the standard that I hold Mandalorian up to with seasons 1 and 2, season 3 kind of felt a little lackluster in that regard. So going into Ahsoka, who is like easily one of my favorite Star Wars characters in the expanded universe, and I think even in the fandom, like people just love the character of Ahsoka, which is such a contrast to how she was first introduced back with that garbage Clone Wars movie. Like people hated her. They hated her. But now everyone loves her. So going into Ahsoka, I was kind of worried. I'm like, dude, it's a toss of a coin if Disney or Dave Filoni or whoever's in charge of the Star Wars project, if they're gonna do a good job with it or not. And not only that, the trailers leading up to Ahsoka's premiere, I'm gonna be honest, I was not impressed by those trailers. They just seemed boring to me. The choreography seemed boring. The camera work seemed boring. It was boring. At least the trailers. So that was me going into Ahsoka. I was hoping, please, just don't do it to this one too. Please do it right. Please do it well. So yeah, cautious optimism going into the show.
No, I think everybody has said fair statements as with regards. Cautious optimism, bitter taste. Yes, I still have Boba Fett in the back of my no. Boba Fett for me was a better experience than Obi-Wan. I'm gonna say that. And I'll tell you, you know, as far as expectations going in with Ahsoka versus kind of expectations with Mandalorian, you know, Ahsoka, as we said, has become a beloved character to where, you know, if you're going to dedicate a series to such a character, you know, you really want a good, well worth it type of story. And dare I say it, Obi-Wan did not deliver on a beloved character. Boba Fett did not deliver on a beloved character. And then Mandalorian probably has the most freedom to play around with a character who is just really, they're trying to establish as a character, find that
It's a
footing.
new character. There are no expectations with with a new character.
Exactly. But I'll tell you what, with Ahsoka, I kind of went in relatively blind. I don't think the trailers wowed me either, but like there came a point where I stopped like researching who's in the cast, who's been cited as directors and everything. And I didn't play the catch-up game with Rebels until literally I finished my Rebels watch by episode like 3 of Ahsoka.
God, was I the only one that watched Rebels before?
No, I watched it.
Okay, thank you.
I watched it a while ago, and
Pretty much, I'm the only one here that like didn't watch Rebels before.
Sacrilege.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it would have helped. I mean,
This is literally Rebels 2.
No, I knew the
Yeah.
characters of Rebels.
Oh,
I knew the characters of Rebels. I didn't see the show, and even so, I still enjoyed Ahsoka. And like, I pieced everything together. It wasn't like, oh my god, I don't understand what the hell is going on. Like I kind of figured it out pretty quickly.
to a credit of the Ahsoka show, that it is very much a Rebels follow-up, but very much its own
Yes.
carving in the Star Wars timeline. And yeah, it wasn't very much, oh, you had to watch Rebels to know what's going on.
Definitely.
It helps.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, because it would help you understand why they are so fretful or fearful of Thrawn coming back.
Yeah,
what kind of threat he actually poses, and okay, who's Sabine, and why is Ezra this important person? First
Why
of all,
she
who the
care
hell is
about
Hera?
him? Why is she
Who's
risking the
Hera?
fate
So-
of the galaxy to just rescue this kid named Ezra?
And
Yeah.
then sinking it down the fucking toilet. Sorry,
You can.
down-
Oh, okay. It's okay.
sinking it down the toilet anyway because of the finale. But either way. But I will say, I don't know if I'm gonna go on a tangent with this, but I will say I agree with that about some people not watching the show, not watching Rebels or not watching Clone Wars before watching Ahsoka, and that's part of the problem with Star Wars. There's so much content out there now that some different pieces are starting to tie together. If you are playing the catch-up game, it is kind of like overwhelming to try to understand every little piece.
I agree. However, I will say this, and then we'll start talking about the series as a whole. I think outside of the movies, this Star Wars content is more enjoyable than what we've gotten from the sequel trilogy. So 7, 8, 9.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The Solo film.
Unnecessary.
And then I rather watch the Clone Wars if we're talking about prequel series era. I'd rather watch the Clone Wars the series than rewatch those movies. I think they're doing a phenomenal job at times.
The only Star Wars movie that came out like right after, the
Disney acquisition.
Yeah, the Disney acquisition that was good. Rogue One.
Rogue One,
Absolutely.
which is crazy because I don't
Rogue
think any
One-
of us here have watched Andor.
Yeah, well, it's still on the
Clownery.
list.
It's on the list. You're right.
So-
On the list.
It's there.
Andor. I haven't watched it, but
Maybe
I
someday.
did not ask for it. I did not ask for this series, but now I have questions because we know what happens to the character. We saw what happened to him. He dies. So now they of course have all this time, all this space to make up anything about him. They can go as many seasons as they want until they get to that point in the movie, which I think is what you all were talking about. I kind of like alluding to with Mandalorian. I'm sorry, with the Mandalorian, about how they can kind of just play around with that character. Whereas with Ahsoka and with Obi-Wan, these are characters that are pretty established. Their story's pretty known. If you're just going to expand on it, that's fine. But trying to do what they have done in some cases, also with Boba Fett, it's a dangerous game if you don't do it properly, because you're going to let down a lot of the fandom.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess with Ahsoka, it's a very personal character to Dave Filoni. And here we are with 8 episodes we've been saying nothing short of 8 on every single episode.
Yeah, 8 out of 10.
8 out of
Oh,
10
as
or
a
higher.
score on all of them.
On average, yeah, the average is 8
Average.
or higher.
I'm not gonna lie. Them first 2 episodes, I was like, we're gonna see how this goes, but it steadily got better, kept my interest, and left me wanting more at the end of each episode.
Yeah, no, it really built. It really built. So let's get into this. And I think because we're not gonna go episode by episode, but I think the story is very easy to kind of dissect. Honestly, I think it's very you can pick it apart, but at the heart of it all, if you follow the characters and their journey, you got the story of Ahsoka. So here we are. It's Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson. This is her 3rd time around. She had an appearance in Boba Fett and Mandalorian season 2, and now she full reigns. And where did we leave her off? She's been tracking Thrawn. She's a little beaten down since the reveal that Anakin became Darth Vader. And
This is from Rebels, right?
yes, that was in Rebels,
Okay.
right? That big reveal really shook her and broke her as a character. And then on top of that, in the gap between this show and Rebels, there was a time where she was training Sabine, and she let that go due to Sabine and the loss of Mandalore, tying it back to the Mandalorian. Here we are. She's now. We got to go do something. Thrawn's coming. He's coming. Did you enjoy watching Rosario Dawson in the lead as Ahsoka? Was that was it good? Was it fun?
Yeah,
Was she,
I like Rosario Dawson as
is
an
it
actor.
layered?
She did a great job as Ahsoka. I really liked Ahsoka's character and the way she portrayed it throughout the show, and I could appreciate like the growth of the character throughout the show. She did a really good job. Plus, I'm also biased because she's Puerto Rican.
There it is. We were waiting for it.
Oh,
We were.
just throw it out there. Just perfect.
Yep, I'm also
Got it on
biased with
board.
Rosario Dawson.
I mean, I too.
Rosario Dawson's great. Didn't we meet her once? No.
No, we didn't meet her.
Okay.
We didn't see her either because at MegaCon she was shrouded behind her and Hayden were both there, which is crazy.
Oh, she was
did.
with Hayden, or
He was there. They were both there.
but they were together
And-
there,
no, and
or
Their
they were.
boots were right next to each other.
And like
Wow.
I think I was reading something that like you're saying,
Big hand.
sorry, of Hayden says because they're friends. Like I think they were in the same acting.
They
school.
had the same acting
yeah.
class. They
Yeah,
did.
they had the same acting
That's
class.
crazy.
And this is the first time like they met up since all that, and it was like very emotional for them. Like when, especially that 5th episode where there is that interaction between them, that it was like very emotional. Like I think they interviewed them, and that's what they got.
No, that's.
I found that really cool. That's like small world.
Oh no, that is super cool to hear that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Rosario as Ahsoka, I will agree with Dr. Mondo. I appreciated the growth of the character, given that most of the time that you've seen Ahsoka on screen, she's been very like, I wouldn't say bubbly, but very personable, very kind of upbeat, but still serious. I mean, they were in the middle of a war, so she's a young one, growing, learning. But she had her master with her. She had Obi-Wan as well. She didn't seem to be too down all the time, but I think at the beginning of this series, she was just so serious, more serious than I had ever seen her, and I wasn't sure that I really liked that depiction. But I do appreciate, like you said, Dr. Mondo, about the growth and how she eventually got back to a little bit more smiling Ahsoka towards the end of the series. I felt that was great. Other than that, the depiction of Ahsoka, I didn't mind. I will stand by. I did not like the choreography when it came to the lightsaber battles. I felt that it was a little too stiff, but that's the only complaint I have.
I actually liked it because at least I got a lot of like Japanese influence from a lot of the show. Like,
oh yes, if
even, like,
Mandalorian is a Western, this
Mandalorian's
is a
a
samurai.
Western. This is samurai. And like you could see, it was like stances. There was like a heavy influence on like the stances, the lightsaber stances, which I think like if you go like really with the Star Wars mythos, there's like different forms of lightsaber combat, but here they made it almost like samurai stances, and they're different samurai stances. And even like Ahsoka's lightsabers, the hilts were katanas.
Yeah.
So it was very Japanese influence. Even the shots, the music, everything. It was very Japanese. So I even though it was stiff, I saw what they were trying to do, and I really liked that. It was like, if I found it artistic.
It makes sense. Yeah, I like Rosario's portrayal as Ahsoka. I do think with like Catwoman v, like the early portions of the season where she's playing that more serious role, that was kind of like, I understood why she was in that I guess mood for her character, but at the same time it's not the version of Ahsoka that I'm used to seeing a lot. So I guess in the early episodes, it didn't captivate me as much as the way it is later on, where she does start to open up again and she starts to act more like her Clone Wars self, her Rebel self. That's the Ahsoka that I grew to like love as a character. But unfortunately, at least for the first portion of the season, she's in, you know, the mood. And I get it, but I just, yeah.
Ahsoka the Gray became Ahsoka the White.
Oh
wow, you know what?
actually, wow.
Yeah, there you go. Profound.
Damn.
Yeah,
A lot of literary
No, like,
references.
that was like basically Lord of the Rings, right?
Over my head.
You know, until you said it, I did not put that together, but absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Ahsoka the
All
Gray,
the geeks
Ahsoka
were
the
in the room
White.
writing this.
Yeah, no, I definitely think I guess when you think of the Ahsoka character, you really go straight to Clone Wars, you go to Rebels, and you never really think how much has gone through, like what she has gone through in the span of time of the Star Wars universe. And it's like it's really grim, a lot of it. There ain't really happy moments.
It's war.
It's
Yeah,
war.
like she
There's
became a
war, there's
Jedi
betrayal.
in the war, pretty much started off as a kid in the war, became disillusioned with the Jedi, and then your master, pretty much the person that you always depended on, that you looked up to, succumbed to the dark side.
and tries to
and
kill
The
you.
way you figure it tries to kill you, it broke her. Like it made her question everything that she fought for, everything that she stood up for, that she was raised in. And to a certain way, I think a lot of the times throughout the series, it's like she feels like this guilt as to, you know, I think maybe I interpreted wrong, but it's like seeing Anakin as Darth Vader, she feels somewhat guilty for that.
Oh yeah, no, that was a huge part of it. It was very much responsibility.
Yeah, because it's like you were there. It's like you were there for me. I think the way she sees it, it's like Anakin was always there for her, but when Anakin needed her, she wasn't there. And there is that guilt, and she pushes everyone away, and actually, kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, does the same with Sabine. She wasn't there for Sabine. Like she, in a certain way, like abandoned Sabine.
There was and it's well, see, I'm now gonna open up the floor to let's get into the Rebels cast is here. Sabine, Hera, Jason, Chopper, they're all here, and they're
Except for the other one.
Who?
Stephen
Zeb.
Bloom, Zeb.
Zeb he had that cameo in Mando,
but he wasn't
Season
here.
3.
He wasn't here.
Which I think they're properly trying to set up the grand
For
reunion,
Mm.
of the Rebels cast. Well, that's coming, without question. But it's very much their show too. And on the topic of Sabine, now that we mentioned, this feeling Ahsoka had as far as, she wasn't there for Anakin, and this finale reveals that there was a darkness inside Sabine after the purging of Mandalore.
And she
And-
was afraid that she was gonna be that again. She was gonna like go down the same path as Anakin, the dark side, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, she just feels guilty about everything. She just has a ton of veil of guilt on her.
And then the same thing too. I like watching Sabine and the actress Natasha Liu Bordizzo. I was like, she's not. When we were watching it this whole time, we were like, she's giving Sabine like this very artistic energy.
Yeah.
This rebel in a sense, but
there
then
was no spray paint this entire time. I will.
oh my God, she did not do any graffiti.
I
It didn't
part-
feel like Sabine. At least for that first portion. Like I was wondering, like, yeah, I know your name is Sabine, you're being called Sabine in this episode, but I don't know, something's missing. Some ingredients missing.
I mean, of course, losing Ezra the way that she did without having any type of resolution, like, if someone dies, then okay, they're dead, you can mourn and move on. But with the fact that he was just missing, presumed dead, no real way of like getting back to him, but keeping hope alive, I get that would change someone's personality and how they go about life, because of course she grew her hair out and she had long hair in episode 1, which I was like, what the heck is this? But the fact that they didn't lean into her artistic abilities even a little bit or even hint at them, I was like, I'm not really feeling that.
Well, she did the mural, that thing in episode 1, the mural with right? That was her, wasn't it? The
well,
one with
technically, she did that at the end of Rebels.
Yeah,
but
so
Right.
that was done. They were just honoring.
Oh,
They were just
that was
honoring
in Rebels that she did.
yeah, that was at the. It
Oh,
was in the
okay.
finale of
Never
Rebels.
mind. It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
What? No,
No.
but like then when you really dial back and you think about the purging of Mandalore, I did not think about that once. That like I forgot that her family would have been part of that, and she survived. They died. These characters have gone through some stuff since the last time we seen them.
Yeah.
Now I will say her portrayal, Natasha Liu Bordizzo, it definitely could have been better at
Could have.
times. It's very stale a lot of times.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like I didn't see Rebel. I knew who Sabine was because I knew the character names and all that. But coming in as a person that didn't see Rebels, Sabine was I would say my least favorite part of the show. Like I would say, yeah, like her portrayal, the actress, I don't know, I don't think she did a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she wasn't doing it for me either.
I
it was just
she wasn't bad. Like she wasn't.
she wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh my
It was
god, get
just
her
like,
off the screen.
okay, like,
I think the story does better by Sabine as a character than the actress does by Sabine the character. Does that
No,
make
but
like
so, like,
the saving
Yeah,
grace
I
of-
would go with that.
story that she
Yeah.
has.
So it's like
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Sabine the character. I just have a problem with how she's portrayed. Like,
no, the story
Yeah.
saved
This
the character.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
The story was
Sabine-
fine.
Sabine is like
The-
a spunky character in Rebels, and so you kind of get this like teenage rebellion part of her. But of course, she grows up. She goes through a bunch of loss, so that you would expect that does like harden her and change her a little bit. But it wasn't quite what I expected. Like I would have expected Sabine to kind of turn it more into like what Ahsoka was, like, a little bit more stoic, a little bit less joyous in life and things like that. This Sabine is basically willing to basically just say whatever to everything. She's just blasé about everything until she comes up with something about Ezra, and that's the only thing she cares about.
Ezra.
Ezra.
We'll come back to Ezra. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, I have thoughts on Ezra.
Yeah. We got Hera
What do you mean,
and the
Jesus?
New Republic. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, married to Ewan McGregor, aka Obi-Wan Kenobi.
She's married to Ewan McGregor?
Yes, she is.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, that's
Small
world.
crazy.
That wouldn't be. It's not nepotism if you're married, right? It's only if you're a child.
I don't know.
No,
Isn't it familial connection to get a
Listen, she's a great actress. I don't know if she. This I had the
wasn't-
biggest.
Did it feel out of place though? Like a little
Yes.
bit, like because like you know, this is the thing with Star Wars that I wish that they stem away from, where they don't get an easily recognizable face to put on a character, because then, at least for me, that's all I see on screen. In Mando season 3, there were these two characters.
Not Jack Black and Lizzo.
It's Jack Black and Lizzo. You don't even remember their names.
Oh
You don't even
my
remember their
gosh, listen,
names.
this episode is wild. Doc Brown is in the episode too.
Doc Brown. You don't
In one
even
episode.
you don't remember the character's name, and there's a reason for that. It's because of the actor's recognizability. You see their face and you're like, damn, that's Jack Black. That's Doc Brown. That's Lizzo.
So, were you looking at Hera and being like, that's Sue Tenney. She's gonna drop Sky High out of the air.
Practically, I'm like, oh god. I mean, she was good. She was good
that's Ramona Flowers.
Ramona Flowers. Where's Scott Pilgrim? Where is he at? But I kind of, she was good as Hera, but at the same time, I don't like when Star Wars does that. I don't like when they get recognizable faces in roles that, you know, that are either main roles. Like, for example, Pedro Pascal as
helmet on the whole time.
He has a helmet on the whole time. And when he had the Mandalorian, when he got the role, he wasn't like too like well known. Like he had Game of Thrones,
certain circles,
Narcos, yeah. Like he wasn't like too out there, but obviously now he's blown up and his name's big. But yeah, she was fine as Hera, I guess. Stop doing this.
She wasn't giving Hera. That's my 2 cents. She wasn't giving Hera.
What is Hera to you?
Commanding. She's a general.
Commanding.
I didn't get General Hera.
To be fair, this is a different type of scenario. The war's ended.
The war's over. What do you want her to do?
Have to be as domineering.
Like, peacetime.
Peacetime.
I will say the most Hera we got out of this character was when she was being a pilot. We like any time after that, or any time where she was like talking to. Well, I guess when she was talking to that one particular senator, she was kind of
She got a little spicy.
Yeah. But other than that, again, it's another thing. Starting at the beginning of this season, she wasn't really as impressive, but as it went on, she got better. I was like, okay, I'm okay with you in this role. Would not be mad if they recast you, but I'm okay with you in this role.
Oh damn, recast it.
Gotta be honest.
That's okay.
She's not alone. Jason.
Who's
probably got a lot of freedom too.
A lot.
As a character, we only saw him for like 2 seconds in Rebels. Son of Kanan and Hera.
I'm not sure how those genes mixed, but sure.
No, we've seen this before.
We did. Well, wait, with who?
In Clone Wars, there was a clone and a Twi'lek. Yeah.
And they had
the one that had the farm. They had a farm or something.
He was a deserter. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I still say that he married that Twi'lek and she already had kids.
Them kids didn't have tentacles.
Actually, wait a minute. No, I think they already had the kids.
Hell no.
Yes.
No. Those are crossbreeds.
No, listen. Oh wow, problematic.
Jesus.
No, I swear if you look it up, for the deserter, I swear that
it isn't a podcast.
Get fact checked. Get fact checked.
We will come back to this.
Yeah, fact check.
But Jason, representing what could be the next age of Jedi. I'm fine with the kid.
He's fine. Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't.
It's not his show, so the focus is not mainly on him. He had his good moment. Finding Ahsoka, that was him. And that's it. He was there. Done. One and done.
He was there. He did his thing.
Yeah.
And he
was okay.
Stepped out of the spotlight.
Same thing with Chopper. I didn't need too much of Chopper.
Yep. He made his beeps and boops, and he was out.
Yeah.
Very useful in the end.
Yeah. And then
they were gonna shoot him.
They were.
Were they though? Because
listen,
I said, the only person who would have recognized him was Hera. Everyone else starts.
But why'd he leave his helmet on? Why'd he leave? Why is he clowning? Why is he walking onto a New Republic ship in a stormtrooper armor?
That was just a Rebels Easter egg. We will come back.
Dumb.
They let him.
We will come back.
They let him lay.
Hugh Yang is the only other returning character.
Oh
think.
yeah, I forgot
David
about
Tennant.
David Tennant.
The 10th and now 14th Doctor.
Right. That's a thing. Yes, because
Yeah, like
Shuti is 15th Doctor.
exactly.
Don't
Yeah.
pretend that you know.
Oh, I know enough. Thank you.
Dr.
all.
Thank you very much. I
At
know
all.
enough.
Check him. Check
I
him.
know
B.
enough.
Check
I
him.
know enough.
Nino knows.
Unpack him
He's
now.
That's
He's
fine.
my fellow Whovian.
Hugh Yang is probably now my third favorite droid behind R2 and C3PO. Just a cool character being.
I liked Hu Yang.
Hu Yang was nice.
liked him.
Yeah.
He's very personal. He's got a legit personality, and I
Yes.
appreciate that.
It had a
It's-
good range.
He's a gatekeeper,
It,
literally.
Like, not
Well-
gonna lie,
Holy
it's
hell, he's a relic.
it's kind of
Hmm.
sad that a droid had more personality than
That's
some of the-
insane. Yeah, you know
Oh, the-
what? He had the most range out of all of them.
That's David
Yeah.
Tennant. He understands.
No,
these
But
I
he
know
was
it's
portraying a droid, something
No,
that
but
should
it's
be like C3PO's
droid-
always like, oh, Master Anakin, oh, where do I go? R2. Just that lame
Like,
nonsense.
Is
yeah,
that
like
what
a
he does?
droid in
Oh,
this show
yeah.
had more personality than some of the characters.
Hu Yang was great. Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
David Tennant delivers.
Oh
That's
no, he
insane.
does.
That's insane.
Like, he always delivers. David
Hmm.
Tennant is amazing.
Goodness.
But yeah.
With that said, there's this plot to find Thrawn on the villain side. The first, I don't know even what you want to call them. The heir to the Empire is basically, and we have some new factions. We have, Morgan Elsbeth, Night Sister, Morgan Elsbeth, is teaming up with fallen Jedi Balin Skull, played by the late great Ray Stevenson,
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
and his apprentice Shin.
Mm.
And this is where I think the show really started to kind of like pique our interest, because when we were watching it, like, this is where we were like, the questions were coming, will they, won't they? This is where I was the most interested. So the Night Sisters are a huge role in all of this, which we all watch Clone Wars, right?
We better. Oh,
What was that? What's that?
what's that? Half the series? Episode
like,
1?
half. I even forgot like where I left off, but I do know what the Night Sisters
You know the
are.
Night Sisters, yeah.
Yeah, I know the Night
That's
Sisters.
good. Yeah. Minimum.
I
Go-
know
go-
I know the Night Sisters. I know Dathomir. I know all that stuff.
Catwoman
Okay.
V, I know you don't know anything about the
Oh my
Night
gosh,
Sisters.
was he
You
freaking out? Oh, it was that first moment where Ahsoka went to that Night Sister little temple and got the map. Go ahead.
Well, because when we first saw it, like when we were watching it, I was like, this doesn't look like a Jedi temple. And we were trying to figure it out what it actually was. And it was later on, we were like, those were women up on the walls, the murals. I was like, okay, so these are the Night Sisters. When Morgan said it, I was like, look, they're going to be doing something with the Night Sisters, because there's no way they just pull that one particular aspect of all of Star Wars, and then they're not going to develop it. And we're probably going to get to it later, but I will say, I got the one thing that I asked for, and I was right about the other thing too. I called that shit.
Listen, this is where I think Star Wars can thrive, is when you take these aspects of the Star Wars mythos and just really expand on them instead of doing the same old shit. You know,
Like, honestly, there's
Take a risk.
so much when it comes to like the mythos, like the history in Star Wars, like Old Republic, even you go even farther back, there's so much that you can kind of pull from.
yeah. And I was
There's
like,
so much.
I was just so excited that I was like, because one, we had not seen, unless Dr. Mondo, I don't know, have you played the Fallen Order games?
Yes.
Okay, so, and I know Dr. Jace, Marin is the only Night Sister representation we have had in Star Wars since the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And so to bring them back into the fold, I'm like, oh, this is cool, because
In episode 1.
Because this isn't like, it has never been answered how the hell they do what they can do. Like the magic, Like, and now of course we still didn't get those answers.
But we got enough.
We're getting something. We're getting something.
We didn't get enough, but we got a little bit more. We got a teaspoon, and I'm good with that for now.
So I like the inclusion of the Night Sisters being part of the story. Dr. J, were you game with the Night Sisters and exploring this mythos?
Yeah, I always liked whenever Star Wars. It's funny because I feel like the Clone Wars probably did like the TV series. I feel like the Clone Wars did the best job in expanding the Star Wars mythos and having fun with itself, as opposed to what some of, like the sequel trilogy did and, all the other stuff that came afterwards. So the Night Sisters being one of them. I like the Night Sisters. I like what was her name? Mother Talzin.
Mother Talzin.
Mother Talzin. She was a queen. She was great. I loved her work in the Clone Wars. So yeah, I didn't even catch the Night Sisters thing in the beginning. I don't think I got Night Sister vibes until wasn't there like until when?
I mean, when they confirmed it, I was like, oh, okay, there it is.
Oh, right. Yeah. At that point, it's like, yeah, it's already in the air. But yes, Night Sister, that to me is when Star Wars is at its best. You have a vast mythos, and it's like they don't really do anything with it. They have like characters, they have planets, they have other species that people have praised and want to see again, but then they don't do anything again. And it's like what you said. Our last representation was Marin from the Jedi Fallen Order video games, and not everyone plays those.
I did not.
You to watch me play it.
And those are still great stories, but it's like, come on, like you put Dathomir in here,
like
put it in the
Star
show.
Wars, you have this bag that you can put your hand in without even looking, and you're gonna pull something different every time. It's that vast, yet it's extraordinary how they always try to do the same thing.
Okay, and speaking of the same thing, I was really worried about Baylan and Shin as characters, I'm like, are we about to just get another
Jedi that survived Order 66? I never knew.
Well, one, yes, another Jedi who survived. But two, it was like, okay, he's got a red lightsaber. How far to the Sith
Actually,
scale?
Was it red or like orange?
It was more of an orange, reddish orange tint. And that's I think is purposeful because he's not Sith. He's not
right.
He's not a Sith. He doesn't have a Sith name. He hasn't really, the way like he speaks and all that. It's not like, oh, I adopted the dark side.
Right. I don't even think he really wields.
He never once
the dark
said that.
side.
Yeah. His only Force abilities have been just push, pull.
Yeah, and like the way he portrays himself is he portrays himself like I'm a mercenary. He's a mercenary, and it's just I lost complete and utter faith in the Jedi Order. And it's very similar to Ahsoka. Like it's very similar because Ahsoka's a gray Jedi, but like she still kind of like favors more towards.
They both lean to the other extreme. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. It's like they're in the middle. The only thing that Ahsoka leans
Two
more to the light
sides
side
of the same coin.
The dark.
Dark reflections of each other.
Yeah, like they're very similar.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And watching Baylan, I guess, I feel we haven't really had a character like this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really you either extremely dark side Sith.
There are like Star Wars has never portrayed. Star Wars always portrays extremes.
Yes.
The Sith deal in extremes, Anakin.
And Baylan very much, he was like, I just see how people are manipulating the systems in play, and I don't want to be a part of it. Like the Jedi are at fault.
He's really like, I want to break the wheel. That's what I want to do.
That was one of the better elements, I think, of this show, because it's something that I have conversations a lot with people about some of the annoyances of Star Wars. Despite my love of the franchise, there's just there's just certain things that you're tired of seeing like over and over again, like this endless battle with the Jedi and Sith, and it's like you're either all in on the Jedi or you're all in with the Sith, and there's never someone that just says, listen, I ain't gotta listen to any of you.
They're both bullshit. It's like,
so yeah, Balin was definitely a breath of fresh air, and I think that was reflected in like how his lightsaber was. It wasn't like a crimson red that we're used to seeing for dark side wielders. It was more like an orange, like a blood orange almost. Yeah.
And I think it's like, yeah, this is the first time, to my knowledge, and again, that Star Wars has portrayed like when you have like the protagonist and an antagonist, that they're mirror images of each other.
I mean, we've seen it, but it's always the extreme.
Exactly.
The
like that's what I mean. It's like it's always extremes. Here they actually made it. It's like actually they're pretty similar, and maybe with a little different decisions, Ahsoka could have been Balin, or Balin could have been Ahsoka.
And then the same thing too is reflected in Sabine and Shin, as far as their master apprentice relationship. That was very much a driving point too. And I feel that's something we don't often see within Star Wars, as far as, you know, when we deal with Sith and their apprentice, do what I say. Do what I say, Maul, and that's it.
And because the destiny of a Sith apprentice is to kill his master, his or her master.
Right. We don't actually see why they actually go for this idea. It's so.
Who would agree to this?
I don't know. Right. It's like, this is Count Dooku's like at the end of his days. He's an old dude, and he's like, let me submit to this other old dude real quick.
This old.
Let me submit.
I don't get it. So no, Balin and Shin were cool. They had that other dude who we still question.
Other dude?
Yes.
Who?
Merrick. He was like
the guy that was killed.
Yeah, the Inquisitor blade.
Yeah, the Inquisitor helmet and the blade.
Oh, the guy that we thought was voiced by
Sam Witwer.
Sam Witwer. Which what was his role?
Sam Witwer.
Was that it? The voice of that?
Oh no, actually we haven't confirmed.
Oh.
I mean, well, I'll come back to it. There's something, maybe. We'll come back.
You think that
given the finale, maybe something coming. We'll come back. We'll come back. Oh, were you gonna say something about Merrick? I think
what I was going to say about Merrick, which I know we've already talked about, was just the way that they died. Instead of like, it was kind of like an explosion of whatever, so it seemed as though the body was like put together with like magic or just like a collection of matter. They didn't die by a lightsaber blade as you would normally expect someone to do on screen.
They turned into dust.
Exactly. So like that either made me think that this was not a real person to begin with, this was like a reanimated body, or that it was like, I don't want to say a force projection, but it made me think that whoever was actually that person was not there to die. It was just like some kind of golem type thing. I don't know how to explain it properly, but I did not think that the person actually died, and I expected to see them again later on in the season.
Wait, are we talking about the
Merrick?
Oh, Merrick. Okay.
The Inquisitor, yeah.
When they died, they just kind of poofed.
They kind of
disintegrated. Yeah.
It's like we that doesn't normally happen.
Comes back. I hope that comes back. I hope they don't leave that.
I bet you they leave it.
That would be one loop. That would be like one thread that was not neatly tied up or anything like that. There was a question, because I actually did forget about that until you all just brought it up. But
yeah, I remember that episode. Like, I found it really weird, and then I kind of forgot about it because like the next episode was amazing.
Sure.
But yeah, like now that you bring it back, like that's true.
It was very minuscule, but
the
it was
minuscule
there.
thing, but like it's kind of like wait, what the fuck happened?
Right. So I hope it comes back. But yeah, I think a lot of the show is kind of just breaking the mold of a formulaic Star Wars outing, which is good. So, you know, we got the quest. They're after Thrawn to bring him back.
If he exists.
The Night Sisters.
And it's also a quest of self-discovery.
Sure.
It turns into that, yeah.
There's things you pick up alongside of the road for your quest.
The friends.
They clearly want to rescue Ezra.
If he's alive.
And again, I like Dr. Marno how you point out the samurai aspect of this show. I love that planet with the red foliage. And,
Yes.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Is that Cetos?
Cetos.
Well, it's like this is like you see this and it's like, okay, I'm honestly, so I played Ghost of Tsushima. I felt sometimes that I was seeing like parts of Ghost of Tsushima and like these Japanese samurai movies, and it was really cool. I loved the shots.
Yeah, yo, those were some of the best.
Those were great.
Those were some of the best shots on Cetos. I don't know, the colors and the lighting. Yeah, very good. Dr. J, were you getting Ghost of Tsushima as well?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember this episode.
Oh, okay. It's Ahsoka versus Balin.
Which part didn't she fight him a couple times?
The first fight, the one she lost.
Before they left to the far away.
The one where she fought on the pedestal and got defeated. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
she lost.
Okay. Yeah.
She took a couple.
That was probably the best choreographed fight, I think, in the series.
Between them. Yes, the real best one, Ahsoka and Morgan. That one was.
Yeah,
I really like that one.
One of the finale.
I like
was
that one.
Great.
That
they saved it all for the end.
You can attribute that more to Morgan than you do.
Can.
Yeah,
it was Morgan. Yeah, Morgan delivered. She made Rosario work.
Yeah,
for that.
Absolutely.
Oh God!
If you're gonna kill me, I'm gonna make sure you earn it.
She took away one of her lightsabers. She's like, "You're gonna have to."
Oh my God!
Me.
We screamed. I was like, "Oh, you just got back in your mojo and you lost the lightsaber."
She was vicious.
Dr.
Morgan
Jace,
was
they
the
let her
character.
cook. They let her cook.
They did.
They knew they were about to let her die.
Oh my gosh! I just now was reminded how Sabine got stabbed and the internet lost their mind talking about how she survived.
No.
Oh, they were
forgot
upset that she
was
survived.
That was actually really kind of like a dumb way to end episode 1 because from the trailers, you knew that she was going to live.
I mean, I didn't think she would die. They clearly put it on
but
the side. Like it was so
but
right.
either way, it's
all
like-
the vitals.
But either way,
are
that was
gone.
like one of my very few gripes with the first episode. It was like, why leave Sabine's quote unquote death as a cliffhanger when in all the trailers you know that she's alive?
And episode 2 was immediately available, so someone could immediately check it.
also
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
guess,
Why,
yeah.
It
why
was silly.
end on that cliffhanger? That's dumb.
It
She
was
deserved
silly.
it.
The show is not without
Yeah,
certain
I-
flaws
That's why it's an 8.
here and there. Oh man, just thinking about that stab. Lothal. It was cool to see Lothal as well in live action. The planet for that Rebels primarily takes place on.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's where Ezra's from, right?
Yeah, that's where Ezra's from.
Okay,
Yeah.
I remember now.
That was cool to
Nice.
see. Clancy Brown was there. Who he's everywhere.
I've
nowadays.
been seeing him everywhere. I don't know why lately in live action. That's funny.
I think people are recognizing he's just as good live action as he is
As a crab,
as a voice actor.
he's great.
All right, okay, let's get into this. Probably the internet breaking shit that is Ahsoka loses, falls off the cliff, ends up in the world between worlds, and who is there to greet her on the other side? None other than your boy Hayden Christensen, back as Anakin Skywalker. And I feel we knew that was coming. I think it was the next episode and how they actually capitalized on his return.
They
Was
used
even
him.
better.
Yeah, they put him
Yeah.
to work. I'm glad that they did it the way they did, because that we knew that he was going to be in it, because
We knew
they
he was
they
he was
confirmed
very
it.
vague in interviews and whatnot.
I thought we got a confirmation at one point that he
We
was
got
in it.
a ever so subtle confirmation, but you did not know the extent at all.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was thinking. Because he was in I know he was in Obi-Wan as like Darth Vader, like he was in the suit, but like you don't
And he had
see
his
him
flashback scene as well.
in the flashback. You don't see him unless it's the flashback. So I was hoping like, okay, use him in this series to whatever extent you guys want to. I think episode 5 is my favorite in the whole series.
Episode 5.
Episode 5 was, there's a shot, and I know you guys like some of the other shots in the series. There was a really good shot, and it's a scene. I don't remember the context.
Is it
exactly.
the cloud? He's walking through the cloud.
It's the cloud. The cloud where he's walking, and it like flickers like from thunder between that and Darth Vader. That was, I don't know what magic they did to somehow make that seamless. The way that they made it, that was so clean. That's
where all the editing money went right there.
Easily.
Flawless.
Yeah, they said they were going to really serve it up. If they were going to have him in the series, then they had to use him properly, and that was actually a great shot.
I mean, just the whole sequence too, because again, we did not really. We thought they were just gonna be in the world between worlds,
and then
the whole time.
He'll just talk.
Like switches to the Clone Wars.
Well, yeah, the episode was almost a tribute to the Clone Wars, because if the series is a direct follow up to Rebels, that episode definitely was like, I mean, they threw him in the Anakin.
Yeah.
Oh God, we've never seen him in that before. That was awesome. That was awesome.
I was like, there's no way they put him in that trash costume.
What trash?
No, like trash in the sense of it's like the padding and the armor and whatever the hell.
It looks better in a cartoon as opposed to the way it was here.
Yes,
it did look dumb, but it was dumb, but it was cool that they even got him into it. That was nice. Absolutely. They even styled his hair. Similarly, that was crazy. I lost it. I'm like, wow, you guys paid attention.
Well, I mean, again, because this is
cared.
It's Filoni. It's Filoni.
It's Filoni. Yeah, Filoni's like, we're getting this right. We're getting this right.
The detail is appreciated.
Well, very much. The Mandalorian is Jon Favreau's baby, and Filoni was more of a consultant, co-creator, but like it was really Favreau at the helms. So this is Filoni live action proper Ahsoka.
Right.
So he better be the one to get it right.
And young Ahsoka as well. We got to see her.
Oh my God, young
Ahsoka played by
Ariana Greenblatt. I think I lost it too because never did I think we were gonna get this live action young Ahsoka. Never.
The flashbacks were appreciated. It was a good time.
They were nice.
We even got Tamora Morrison as Rex. He had one line.
Damn it.
I wish he took off his helmet. At least take off your helmet.
In the middle of a battlefield, I am Rex. Put it back on and keep running.
If you're already going to give us all this fan service, just give us a little more. Just a little more.
Yeah.
My goodness.
May as well. Even if he doesn't show his face, you could have him like holding his helmet, talking to a couple stormtroopers or something. I would have been okay with that.
Just walking away from that episode. That is what so many other Star Wars iterations need, is just kind of that. Is not only did it serve as a great tie-in, but it I don't know, it's just like mythos wise as far as what the Force is and what the Force can do. I think it was just a really good display. And a lot of people watch that episode and they're like, what lesson was she supposed to learn?
What lesson was she supposed to learn?
I think it makes more sense now.
I don't think so.
Kind of again. I think very here we go. Let's go around the table. I think she was very hung up on the idea that Anakin at the end of his life, she failed, and therefore the good of his life was like null and void at that point, which is not true. Anakin was still a great Jedi, despite how his path diverged. And I think that loomed over her, as we were talking about, as far as she feeling guilty and feeling like she didn't do anything. And then very much she had to get over the idea of that, that happened, but that doesn't take away from all the good. You need to just keep moving forward. She was very much stuck on that idea.
Yeah, because the emphasis is that guilt, she's still living with that guilt in the past of what happened, of how she thinks she failed Anakin, and forgetting the person that Anakin was. But you see in the world between worlds, when they're fighting, Anakin Darth Vader flickering in between, like he's flickering in between, and he's basically saying, like, do you want to live? I think it is.
I forgot that was a huge part too. Yeah,
it's
like you're not gonna live.
Are you gonna move forward? Are you gonna move forward, or are you gonna stay here? It's like, your job's not done yet. Are you gonna stay stuck in the past, stuck and like being held down by this guilt? Are you going to live? And it's like, and he's pushing her, like Anakin. And I think it's really cool because Anakin was not the typical Jedi at all.
Far from it. He
was very much a rebel among the Jedis. The way he thought, the way he taught everything. It just felt that even while he was fighting to kill her, he was teaching her a lesson. It's like, I'm still your master. I'm still your master, and you still got a lot to learn. So it was pretty cool. I like that.
You got something to say?
No, I'm just thinking about that. Like, as he's trying to kill her, he's teaching her a lesson.
Do you want to live?
You want to live?
Tatakai!
Tatakai!
Oh, what a thought.
Goodness.
I mean, I guess
Unconventional.
in that sense, then there is a lesson to have been learned in that episode. At the time, that was not well received.
Exactly. That's something that you start thinking of, like, after you watch the episode, and after you're like, holy shit, that was such an epic freaking episode. And then you're like, oh, now it all makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they spend a lot of time together, and I was just like, at the end of that, what was she supposed to get out of this?
Then pretty much like this episode, to a certain degree, it was also so inspired on Lord of the Rings. Like Gandalf the Grey going against the Balrog. Gandalf dies and then is brought back as Gandalf the White. Pretty much a very similar thing happened here in Ahsoka. Ahsoka
I guess.
goes against Balin. She dies. Technically, she's in that world between worlds, kind of teetering between life and death, deciding if she still has something to do with the world. And Anakin kind of tells her, you do. And she comes back having learned her lesson and kind of like reaching enlightenment, almost like nirvana to a certain degree. And now she's like Ahsoka the White, and you see it in her personality. She's let that weight, that guilt off.
She needed this. Funny enough, this is not even important. When she wakes up from her bathe in the ocean, she doesn't have her headpiece on.
Oh my
and it's
God,
it's the first time you see like where her whatever the hell that white thing is on her head.
Her hairline,
her hairline meets her orange skin. And you're like, ew, what is that? Put that headpiece back on.
You know what? Funnily enough,
it was just weird. It's like that's what I mean. Obviously, that's how it had to have looked like, but like she always had it on, so you just assumed, okay, no, we're never meant to see it, nor do I want to see it. And then they show it's like Sonic the Hedgehog taking off his gloves. You know he has hands. But do you want to see that? Do you want to see him without his gloves?
No.
Do you want to see him without his shoes? Listen, they didn't need to take off her headpiece. That's all I'm saying.
So, funnily enough, Nino Desposito, I think that's his.
Nino Desposito.
Yes, Nino Despacito. Yes.
Either way, so we invited him over to watch the last 2 episodes with us. So tonight, he was asking, he's like, does Ahsoka have ears?
Right, I thought that those rounded parts, I thought they were ears.
I'm not too concerned.
I thought they did cover.
I think
ears.
there are.
I thought they did.
Listen, go watch Tales of the Jedi with baby Ahsoka. I'm sure you will be able to see some anatomy.
I think they show something in there.
Yeah. I think you can get confirmation. Or Shakti. I don't think Shakti has a headband either.
No, Shakti.
Shakti had something.
She had like
She had something there.
She had like head jewelry that dangled or something.
Sure.
You did not supposed to.
This is very important, by the way.
It's so important. You're right.
Yes.
No. I mean, it's funny. But,
if they have ears in the same place that we do, you wouldn't know because the head tails are in the way.
Yeah.
It's underneath the tendrils.
Maybe those are the ears. Maybe they function for a hearing capacity as well.
It's honestly, it's fine. It's fine.
The curiosity.
I hope they address this in a season 2.
Oh, of
where
course.
are the ears?
Yes.
We need to know.
The fact that they showed me where her head connects to it. All right, I want to know more now. Tell me.
That is a good point.
I'm sure we will see this again.
Either way, what other characters?
Well, from this point, which again, I think that beginning of episode 6, where Hu Yang is about to tell the story of the Jedi tales.
Oh yes.
One.
Was that what that was? Oh wait, no. You mean?
Oh, sorry. So I guess I skipped the part with the Purgles. We know the Purgles can travel.
The whales, the space whales.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know they can travel. We knew that was going to be the way to get there because that's how Ezra got there in Rebels. So that was the only logical thing. So with that said, Hu Yang is opening with the, talking about tales of the Jedi from old. And he says the thing, and you got to point at the screen and be like, they did it. They said it in a long, long time ago.
In a galaxy
far away.
Oh, I lost it.
He did.
I was
You
like,
lost
oh my God.
And he
They said the line. Oh my God! Roll the credits. The show's over. The franchise is over.
They could have. That was great.
Jesus.
I love that because now we're getting into untapped, untold places of Star Wars mythos that we have never explored. I couldn't believe we've never been to another galaxy.
Okay, and you see, this is where my praise for the series.
Why?
They didn't do anything with it.
They're still there. They're still there.
Hey, listen. This was the first time that I was excited. I'm like, wow, a new galaxy, new planets, new species, new civilizations, new government entity, if there is one. Maybe the Force doesn't exist over here. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it's only secluded into the Star Wars galaxy.
Maybe it's our freaking galaxy.
Maybe it's our galaxy. I hope to God it's not. I hope to God it's not.
People predicted that, and I was like, if they fucking dare.
What if they landed in New York City? How would you feel?
I'm turning it off.
No. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Imagine she lands in New York City, and Nick Fury comes up to her.
Shut the fuck up. No.
That's the best. That's your best case scenario. That's what you want.
We do
no. No.
That combines your love of the MCU with Star Wars, and that right there is what ultimately you would do.
Please move on. I don't want to hear anymore.
Ahsoka, I want you to join the Avengers Initiative.
Forgive them. I would never forgive them for that. Oh goodness!
They're
but
both.
I will say,
it's both Disney, so it's possible.
Please move on.
No.
What if she met Sora? What if she met Sora?
Enough.
Sora?
Go ahead, please.
So when we were talking about a galaxy far away, them talking about traveling to find Thrawn. At the beginning, I will admit that I kept saying I did not think that Thrawn was an actual. I didn't think that they were going to find Thrawn or Ezra. I was 100% of the mindset that Morgan was using them to get to the homeworld of the Dathomiri. I somehow called it because I'm like, there's no reason for them to bring up the Night Sisters without trying to get somewhere else, and the only way that they can get there is with a map that opens with the magic that they telltale green magic of the Night Sisters. I think that they were trying to get somewhere. I was like, oh, Dathomir is just a colony. Mother Talzin was running it. They're getting back to the homeworld because they're trying to bring them back over here since they all got wiped out. And guess who was right? Me. But at the same time, I was wrong because Thrawn actually was there. But I got what I wanted for this other galaxy exploration. I
think they opened the door.
They opened the door there.
Open the door.
I needed more than that. I
But
needed more
we
than
are
that.
still here.
I
By the
needed-
end of this season,
doesn't matter.
We're still here.
We are
Does-
still here, and the rest, like they've gone back to the other galaxy, so we get 2 stories at the same time. That's gotta. There's a lot of potential there.
I can guarantee you. I promise you, they're not gonna do anything with this.
Oh please!
I
just
promise
give
you.
it a, just
No,
just
I'm,
let 'em
remember
cook.
this
Let
right
them
now.
cook.
Remember this right now.
They
Remember what I'm
cook.
saying right now.
It
End
is
of
Mean Girls Day.
end of Ahsoka, episode 8, season finale. I am telling you for a fact they are not going to do anything with this galaxy. I know it. I'm making a prediction right
We're gonna
now.
have to stitch this in on.
All right, I'm gonna say
They're not going
this.
to do anything. I
I'ma say this.
promise you.
Remember October 3rd.
Remember
door-
October. Oh! Don't forget, this is our October 3rd. This is our October
we got a
3rd.
pocket watch. We wrote it on. We're about to carve it in.
Scar. Yeah. Etch it in. Etch it in.
Yeah. All right. Listen, they might not. I get it. I do hear you. The main conflict is back in our galaxy.
The original.
The original
I get
galaxy.
it. I get it. You know.
The door is open. Will we get more in the next season? We will get this planet, Peridia. We'll definitely get the planet. There's some shit going on here. But yeah, we may not see more. I'm gonna let them cook for now and see what they give us.
Cook.
Uh,
Let them gather the ingredients. they
they
have,
got the ingredients. We are on the Dathomiri homeworld. There are live mothered, like mother status night sisters
The
here.
Great Mothers, yeah.
The great mothers.
Oh, so they were all great mother status. The
They
three.
were
are.
all great
Yeah,
mothers.
they were all
status.
great
But
mothers.
we saw
Okay.
no Night Sisters and we saw no Night Brothers. We
Problematic.
saw nothing else.
Something happened with this planet, but we get our big bad. He's here. Thrawn, played by Lars Mikkelsen, brother to Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was
That is
wondering. He
not a
looked a
common
lot.
name.
He looked a lot like someone.
And
Okay.
crazy enough, he did the voice acting role, and now they
Oh,
gave
he
him
did?
the live action. He did.
Oh, that like Bo-Katan, right?
Like Bo-Katan and like who was the other one we said? Oh, Clancy Brown's character.
Clancy. Oh, yeah, that's right. He did have a role in
Yeah.
Rebels. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So he's here.
That's cool.
He's just as calculating. His presence is still there. I very much always like Thrawn's presence. Dr. Mondo, I'm curious to what you think, having not watched Rebels.
I like Thrawn.
Yeah,
Very
he's
cold.
different.
Really liked Thrawn because it was like it's this very cunning, very like this guy is evil, but he's so calm, he's so cunning, he's playing 4D chess the entire way, and he's like, and I loved how it was like the part where I like knew what type of villain he was is when he says, okay, Ahsoka, dig up everything about her. I want to know everything about her. And it's like he just dives into the psyche.
Yeah.
Like he dives into the psyche and like their behavior patterns, everything. He studies his adversaries and he doesn't underestimate them. There isn't arrogance. It's like, I want to know everything about you so I can just utterly destroy you. Like,
Or just as you said, he's playing chess. He likes to be a couple steps ahead.
he's like a couple steps ahead. He's a puppeteer. It's like, oh yes, you're right where I want you to be. And I know this is exactly what you're gonna do because of this, this, and this. And I was like, I love that type of villain. I love it. And like he played it so well. Like never like throughout those episodes where he was on, it was like every time Ahsoka did something or they won, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is all bullshit and they didn't win. And Thrawn and needless to say, Thrawn would be like, yes, an acceptable outcome. Like
I
all
did
the
like
time.
that line. Acceptable.
An
I like
acceptable
that line.
outcome.
acceptable outcome. And he's like unfazed.
Unleash
And
the
he's like,
bombardment.
Unleash the bombardment. Rain hellfire on them.
What?
I was gonna say that bombardment part.
It's gonna come back to bite him.
I do think that's gonna come back to bite him in season 2 because if you were watching, it caught the Great Mothers off
Yeah,
guard.
it caught them by
They're
surprise.
like, excuse me?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they did try
Our
to stop
temple?
him, but it was like, oh, so this is what you're choosing to do? That could be a problem now that they are at Dathomir, and I'm just gonna say Nino.
Yeah, we said Nino.
Oh, great,
Yeah.
because I was about to say Despacito again. Nino, he was saying that those whatever they loaded onto the ship, even though
Did we ever
we
get
thought that they-
confirmed what that was? No.
I thought they were ammunitions. Like I thought they were
I was pretty sure that was their
Like,
undead
torpedoes or
army.
something? Yeah, but at the same time, it absolutely. Now that I'm thinking about it, because Nino said that they looked like coffins.
Yeah.
It could be the undead army, or, and I'm still holding out for this. It could be. This is my personal thing, that it could be like, Night Sisters, Night Brothers that they're bringing to repopulate Dathomir.
Oh, wow.
Given that we didn't see any other Night Sisters, any
Yeah,
Night Brothers on Peridia,
Oh,
that planet's
and
barren.
it's an alliance.
it is an alliance, and the fact that Thrawn woke them up. So what were they hibernating? Were they in this magical sleep? What happened?
Thrawn woke
Wasn't
up the Great
explained.
Mothers?
That
Yeah.
Ezra said when they landed there that he kind of ran off and Thrawn woke up. He said woke up the sisters.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, he woke them up. So like, but by that we don't know if like he went into the temple, did some kind of ritual or something, woke them up, or if him arriving, his presence woke up their consciousness or something like that.
What is he promising them?
There's a lot there to be explored.
Yeah, they're like they're going along with
Yeah,
him.
I'm pretty sure that
so
it's like
great, though. So
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
there's something more at play, and like the devotion that they show him, it's like him being like someone that's he's not force sensitive and anything, and the devotion that they show, it's like there for sure is something more at play here. It's not just so I really think that the V's right here. I think I'm gonna put my eggs in that basket. I really think that there's some alliance there that they're trying to kind of like repopulate Dathomir, and it could be also like the undead soldiers. It could be both. Like
The undead soldiers could be them, because like we saw
they're trying to
Sabine was
rebuild
fighting.
the empire. Like what better way to rebuild the empire and rebuild your army than using a legion of undead soldiers?
Well, I mean, I think that's what Thrawn wants out of the alliance, but
Exactly.
you tell them that, hey, they massacred your people back on Dathomir.
And the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. I don't think that sits well with them, but they did give them a look when Thrawn
all three of them.
decimated the temple.
Yes.
But what a cool kind of antagonist group that we have here. Just again, we really haven't seen this. We've seen Thrawn before. We've seen the Night Sisters, but to put them together that's a powerhouse move, right?
And like I think one thing that I really liked too is because like when it's the Jedis, it's always the villain is a Sith. The villain is a Sith. There's gonna be a lightsaber battle against the grand big Sith, and well, whoever wins. And here it was cool that's like, the main antagonist, the true main antagonist, this guy is not even a Sith Lord. He's just
he's just a
very,
Smurf.
Like he's a very, very, very smart military officer that he's so fearsome that all these people in the Alliance, General Syndulla, they're like, if this guy is alive and if this guy gets out,
they're all so freaking scared. Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's like
he did a lot.
this guy that's like he's not a Sith. Like he commands that much fear, and
He's a great
enough
villain. He's
enough to
he's
scare Jedi shitless, and the guy doesn't even have a lightsaber.
Well,
Yeah.
the only time that he was actually ever like defeated was when they did something unexpected, because like you said, Dr. Mondo, he was able to kind of like get to know his opponent, pick them apart, and then like counteract everything that they were predicted to do. So the only time they ever pulled one over on him was when they did something unexpected. And in this particular case, they did not do something unexpected.
Which was such a great little scene too, where he said, "You're the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. I knew exactly how you would, tackle this situation."
But also, what makes him such a great villain is
I knew Anakin Skywalker, but he knew Darth Vader.
Yeah,
and he also worked with Anakin in the Clone Wars.
No.
Yes.
No.
Wait. Well,
You're
like,
thinking
not
of Tarkin.
like not in the. I'm not telling like the series, but like
no,
him.
I don't.
no.
wait,
Thrawn
but
doesn't appear in
yeah, Thrawn. Yeah,
Yeah.
but wasn't. Well, hold on. Wait a minute, because the identity of Anakin Skywalker as Darth Vader was not like public knowledge. So what Dr. Mondo's saying? That's how I took it. If he said Anakin Skywalker, he meant it as I knew him from the Clone Wars.
I don't know because I don't.
Actually,
No,
no, that
Thrawn.
makes more sense because I think in
listen,
Rebels they
we don't have-
established that Thrawn, I don't remember what his role was, but he was active in the Clone Wars. He was I don't remember what as, but as a political body, he was active in there. I could have sworn he
I
was.
don't recall them
I don't recall
encountering
either.
Thrawn throughout the Clone
No,
Wars.
not he.
I mean,
He
we
didn't
don't
appear in
see
there.
anything.
I thought I could have sworn he mentioned that at some point in Rebels.
Well, I mean, it stands to reason. Admiral Thrawn is a high enough ranking imperialist that he could have been privy to the knowledge that Darth Vader started off as Anakin Skywalker. Governor Tarkin knew that, so it's very.
But Tarkin is actually in Clone Wars.
Yeah,
so,
but what I'm saying, they're both high-ranking officials within the Empire. It's fair. It stands to reason that he would have found that out eventually, but I don't know that. I never knew that he knew Anakin before Anakin became Vader.
Okay.
That would be news to me.
I mean, I would believe it then in the sense of someone like Thrawn would be able to piece that together.
No, it's
That
like
Anakin.
I mean,
yeah.
he could piece it together because of behavior and tactics. It's like
I took it as Thrawn was right hand to Palpatine. If Vader is right hand, Thrawn is left hand. I took it, and Thrawn knew a lot, as shown in Rebels. Palpatine disclosed a lot to him. I wouldn't think it was too much to think that
right
Palpatine
here.
disclosed that information.
Right here, near the end of the Clone Wars, and after Ahsoka Tano had left the Jedi Order, Anakin Skywalker and Thrawn met each other on the planet Batu in the novel Thrawn Alliances by Timothy Zahn.
When did that come out?
All right, so here's the thing.
When it was canon, there.
Oh,
All right, so
all right.
here's the thing. This goes back to kind of like what we said previously.
Consume your media.
There's so much content. There's so much content for Star Wars.
2017, by the way.
In order to know every single piece.
I'm sorry, 2018. 2018.
You have to consume so much of it, and that little tidbit I did not know, so I'll give that to you, Dr. Mondo. But at the same time, that goes to my argument about too much of Star Wars
it
now.
makes sense like when you put it together, because even if Palpatine didn't tell him directly Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, having worked with Anakin, he knew how he conducted himself in combat, his tactics, how reckless he was going face in, and seeing that in Darth Vader, he would have pieced 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I thought, but I guess I don't know if the identity of Vader was like common knowledge for a lot of people.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
I
It was
think
not.
it was common
It was
knowledge.
not common knowledge.
Right, which is fine. Still very cool. Thrawn,
He's a great.
he's here, he's back. He's gonna be a problem. So
Hopefully.
but there is the other side of the coin. There is And again, I'm glad they just kind of they're here. Let's do this. They didn't spare no expense. Ezra was the other
wow.
big kind of,
I'm the opposite.
let's find Ezra, let's find Thrawn. Ezra's here. He is deemed Space Jesus, beard and all, blue eyes too. It was cool to see Ezra again, and the actor too, I think, did a pretty good job as Ezra. I didn't have any issues with him. Iman Esfandi.
I think he did a good job as Ezra. I will say I was not a fan of how they just kind of wrote Ezra into this as like, yeah, I've just been waiting here, Sabine, for 10 years.
You mean you don't like how he literally hasn't done anything to
anything for 10 years? That's insane. I was, yeah. The whole thing with the galaxy, and don't do it like, they're opening the door. We haven't seen anything from Ezra yet. No. I was so PO, because I'm like, okay, here's Ezra. He's going to tell us about some journeys that he's had or some places he's been to, some stuff that he's learned. It's been 10 years in a new galaxy far, far away.
No, and so
He learned a language.
like
he learned the crab people language in 10 years.
So coming from like
I'm sorry, that
coming from a person
yeah, no.
that didn't see Rebels and all that, even I was like, so the actor did a good job.
Yeah,
like,
the actor was fine. I had no problem with the
I'm
actor.
not shitting on the actor or anything, but for a person who's been stranded on a planet for 10 years or 10 plus, I don't know, like I found it like way too cheery. And at the same time, it's like, I know you were a rebel. Like, how did you maybe, I don't know, not do like guerrilla warfare against Thrawn and his stormtroopers?
So we talked about this as far as, when Sabine found Ezra, and Ahsoka was in a better mindset. There was a point where it felt that the Thrawn threat wasn't as imminent as it was portrayed earlier in the series. And it was very weird because, as we're talking about it now, yeah, no. I mean, I don't think Ezra could have done guerrilla style, but with that said, the fact that he didn't do anything, like, I don't think they got any knowledge from Ezra.
Nothing.
Yeah, Ezra was just like,
Zero.
so I've been with this caravan of crab people.
Well, maybe Ezra felt that he did enough. Maybe he felt like he sacrificed enough, and he's like, "Oh, I'm taken care of. We're over here."
Like, well, I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah, I mean,
but then
that's very possible. He spent his childhood being a rebel. He's like a young adult now, and he wants to relax.
And on the same side too, Thrawn has a whole army, and it wasn't until Sabine got there did they know where Ezra was.
Yeah, that was like, especially like given
he was off the grid.
No,
he was relaxing hard.
No, but especially given how Thrawn is. You're telling me that Thrawn in 10 years couldn't find Ezra, and it took Sabine less than 24 hours.
Well,
yeah, Sabine went in just a random direction.
Yeah,
and the crab, she bumped into a crab person. It just so happened to be a crab person that was in the direction she went to. And the crab person just happened to know, oh, yes, Doki 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 da Ezra Bridger. Yes. And then they go see Ezra.
Because
the plot fell into Sabine's lap. Is what the plot fell into it.
Yeah, they did not have to work for that.
Absolutely not. And Thrawn was hunting Ezra.
Yeah, I'm not too mad at it though.
I'm not mad at it because
it's annoying.
Maybe
it was
Thrawn was focused on getting back. He doesn't care about Ezra. He's like, if he wants to stay here, he can stay here. Ezra doesn't care about Thrawn. It was a mutual level of go away. I'm done.
Yeah, you got me stuck in a galaxy far away. You got your side of the planet. I got my side.
But then it's like, why? So why
spending that much energy?
Yeah, but it just like, okay, so I don't care about Ezra Miller, but the minute I see Sabine, oh, there I start caring about Ezra Miller, and I'm gonna kill
Because
this.
Wait,
because-
no, not
Bridger,
Ezra Miller,
Bridger.
Ezra Bridger.
Jeez, no. We don't care about
Ezra.
Miller.
Ezra.
I would
I'm
argue that the
sorry.
reason Thrawn starts paying more attention to Ezra is because Sabine shows up, because he has faced them before. He knows what they'll do together and like, you know, what they'll do to find each other.
So
now
why
he's
doesn't
like,
he just
oh,
kill
Ezra
Sabine?
poses a threat now.
Yeah, that's why
Then
just kill Sabine.
Just kill Sabine
Well,
then.
remember he wanted to kill Ezra too, so he let Sabine.
But if he doesn't
Fine,
care
Ezra.
about Ezra
He
and he
doesn't care
thinks
about
Sabine is a
Ezra.
threat,
It's
if they
like,
meet, just kill
and let him leave the
Sabine.
fucking planet.
I don't know.
This
I don't know.
listen. They did
cyclical
Ezra
knowledge.
dirty. Is all I'm saying. They did Ezra dirty in the sense of this is weird. Sabine somehow found Ezra out of nowhere, and Ezra's like, "Hey, Sabine, I'm ready to go home."
It was lazy. It was very lazy.
It was. You could praise everything else about Ahsoka. Everything else was good. This was
I
one
don't
of its
wanna call
weaker
it
parts.
lazy.
It was
I
one of
like
the
it.
weaker parts. It was
I
one
don't
of the
want to call
weaker.
it lazy. You could call it a weaker part. I don't want to call it lazy.
It's lazy.
I'm sure I will watch it again to see if there was more of a plan there. But sure, they find each other. They're reunited. We get another little scuffle with Balin and
Shin.
Ahsoka, but Balin is hearing this thing. He says something is calling out to me at this planet. I'm gonna go deal with that. Shin, good luck, buddy.
No, but
I released you.
But I like what he does with Shin because he says like, let me give you like one little piece of advice, because like Shin is just like gun ho. She's a teenager. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna rush into combat, and he's like, if you're impatient, like with victory, like he says, it was a quote like, if you're impatient with victory, trust me, it's not gonna fall on your lap. Something around.
Oh
those
no,
lines.
you're right. It was a really good quote, and actually, I really liked how he parted with her in that sense.
Yeah, it was
just
like
he's like, I got nothing for you. I got my own thing I got to do. I can see where your kind of head is. We're not aligning. You got to go your own way, and it's very different from where we see, say, like, you know, how again that extreme of a Sith apprentice master relationship works, but it's also very interesting because it's very similar kind of to Anakin and Ahsoka to a degree. Very much kind of, you know, at first Anakin was very much like Ahsoka, you can't leave the order, you know, but then, you know, Ahsoka was very much like, Anakin, I gotta figure this out for myself, you know. And it wasn't until they reunited before the Siege of Mandalore I think he finally understood where she was at in life, and that he just had to let her go, and that was her path, and he'd done all he can for her. And I really think Balin was just like, Shin, I've done what I can for you, and gotta go your own way.
Here was the quote.
Very
One
interesting.
parting lesson, Shin. Impatience for victory will guarantee defeat.
Yeah. I will argue though that Shin, even though she's Balin's apprentice and you would expect certain things from her, she seems to be relatively honorable when it comes to battle. Like, she was questioning whether or not, like, you know, shouldn't we keep our word? We said this type of thing. So that, of course, that starts the separation between master and apprentice. And I think that I got the strong vibe that everyone in this show had their own little ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Like I would have sworn on somebody's grave that Morgan Elsbeth was not looking for Thrawn. I would have sworn that she was looking only to get back
She
to the
heard the
homeworld.
dreams of the mothers.
She said that she heard Thrawn calling her across the galaxy, across the stars. I'm telling you, I thought she was lying just to like get people on her side, to use them for the resources to get back to the Dathomiri homeworld. I knew that that's where she was trying to go. The fact that Thrawn was actually there blew my mind. Was not expecting that. Wow, okay, great little surprise. But I swear I thought she was going to betray them. And then the fact that Ezra's there too. Okay, cool. But Balin, I am curious to see or find out in season 2 if they do something with it.
We'll come back to that the closing shots. We do have the siege of the Star Destroyer. Very cool kind of back-to-back sequence. We get, Ahsoka in white, Ezra with the blade again, with a lightsaber that he has made in the style of Kanan's. If you caught that. Sabine has her lightsaber and a blaster. Dr. Jace, that's that stance from
Blaster stance.
Yep, the blaster stance. That was cool. That's different.
From Survivor.
We get a lot of really cool moments. We get the undead.
That was neat.
We've only seen undead, I think, with the Geonosians. There was that Geonosian zombie
hive mind thing.
Oh, this was different to see stormtroopers get hit and not go down. Very different. I don't think we've seen that before.
I think we saw that in that same episode where there were a few, because it was the worm that kind of like got.
Oh, well, yes.
But you are right.
Cool to see it live action. We get some Rebels throwbacks. I don't know if you caught when Ezra and Sabine did the tossing of each other. That's a move Kanan and Ezra came up with.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, from Rebels. Yeah.
Yep, that was cool to see. We get
Sabine awakens her force powers.
Was it earned?
Yes.
I mean, I guess.
I will say yes because almost earned. I don't think that Sabine fully stepped into accepting that she does not need to compare herself to Ezra. The entire season, I think she struggled with trying to live up to somebody else's expectations. Like, she wanted to be a good apprentice to Ahsoka, like Ezra was to Kanan, and she kept comparing herself like, oh, I'm not as good as everyone.
And then she compared herself to Shin.
She compared herself to Ahsoka as well. And it's just, I don't think she ever got to the point of saying, I'm Sabine, I'm going to do it my way. I will say I appreciate the fact that she used the blaster and the lightsaber.
It was in that moment.
Because it combines the fact she is a Mandalorian, being proud of that heritage, not just using the armor, while also embracing the fact I am a Jedi, or whatever path she's walking with that force. So appreciated that. I don't know that it was quite earned, since she didn't seem to have that realization within herself, but she got there in the end.
She got there. We're here.
The plot demanded it.
I don't know. I don't even felt it demanded it, but I was like, okay.
Who else was gonna push her?
The plot kind of demanded it.
I mean, who else was gonna push Ezra onto the ship?
No. At that part when she's using it to push, then of course, right. The plot demanded it there.
The lightsaber to the head was a nice touch.
The lightsaber to the head was
cool.
a nice touch. I guess I was. I don't know. I feel we always see the lightsaber come to me type of moment.
Kind of weak sauce.
Yeah, it's kind of weak. Yeah, I thought they could have done more. But whatever, it's cool. She's not an expert. This is literally a character that, the idea that the force is with everyone, it just takes refining and fine tuning to bring it out of everybody, for somebody to use it. So I imagine we'll explore more in season 2. The Talzin blade.
Oh,
that was neat.
Nice. Ahsoka has it now.
Does she have it? She picked it up?
Well, she grabbed it, but I don't know. Did she even sheath it? Did she take it with her?
I don't know.
Sheath for it. Morgan didn't have a sheath for it.
Yeah.
Morgan
was just having it. She was just carrying it around, but I don't remember if
she
Ahsoka
had it on her hip, but there was no sheath for it. But Ahsoka used that and her lightsaber to cut Morgan in half.
Okay, yeah.
And we didn't see her drop the blade, so it stands to reason that she still has it.
Interesting.
There's only magic. I want to know more about this, but it went up against a lightsaber. Only a couple of things have the ability to go against a lightsaber. Beskar, some electricity weapons such as Grievous's Magna Guards, their bow staffs. And that's really it. And then this,
the Imperial. Also, I think the Imperial Guards, the ones that have
the red ones.
The red ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very curious about this lore with the Night Sisters, and what this. Again, I don't think it's magic.
We have a magic blade. We have the dark saber.
Right.
We do.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be in stores now. The Thousand Blade for sure.
Thousand Blade.
You know, the fact that they said that makes you wonder, are they going to try to bring back Mother Talzin? Because now they're back on Dathomir. What are they doing there?
Some resurrection could. She was the last great mother, so now they got 3 great mothers coming.
Yeah.
Very much could be. Yeah.
They're
Saj Ventress is also. We have never seen a body.
They mentioned her.
She
in
is
the show.
dead.
They mentioned
She's
her
dead.
in episode 7.
We've never seen a body.
She's confirmed dead in the canon. She is dead at this point.
Boo.
I don't like it. I don't like it either, but she is dead. She's dead.
Whatever. We get I kind of predicted this would happen, as far as Thrawn is the one who makes it back. And they stay behind. I did not see Ezra being the only one that made it back, which I found I think is a perfect setup as far as this greater Star Wars universe goes, as to what you can do with Ezra from this point. If you want him to just hang with Hera, maybe train Jason, which seems like the next big thing for Ezra as a character, to train Kanan's son, or shoot. The Mandalorian is about to be brought back into the bigger fold here, so maybe we see Ezra with Grogu. Who knows? Sky's the limit. But Ahsoka and Sabine are with the hermit crab people, and then Balin, which I thought, whoa, this is huge. This is huge, huge.
What's huge about it?
The father, the brother, and the sister.
The statues at the end.
What-
I'll hold back.
Oh, you don't remember this, do you?
It's from the couple
Explain
episodes
for
in the
our
Clone
fans.
Wars.
Okay, so in Clone Wars season 3, there was a 3-episode arc with Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka. They visit this planet called Mortis.
Oh, that episode, the one with like the evil and the dark embodiments of the Force. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I remember. So that's what the Mount Rushmore
That was the
at the
we
end.
saw the father and we saw the brother.
The daughter was there, but her head was missing.
The daughter's head was missing, but
Okay.
the daughter was always symbolized with this owl-looking creature.
Mhm.
Oh, and
which
that was the owl that
Ahsoka
Ahsoka saw at the end. Okay.
Correct.
Ahsoka got her life back
Correct.
from the daughter, so it stands to reason why it would follow her.
This planet, yeah. So in the Mortis episode, Ahsoka died. The daughter brought her back to life. And basically, yeah, they're the embodiment of the Force. We see them one other time in Star Wars canon, which is in Rebels, when Ezra first enters the world between worlds. There was like a mural of the father, the brother,
Yeah.
and the sister, and he had to turn their hands. So they're very much attributed to kind of like the birth and the origin of the Force. This planet has these giant statues. It's safe to assume that this could very much be the birthplace of the Force,
On the Dathomiri homeworld.
which this is the Dathomiri homeworld. It stands, again, their magic is some derivation of the Force. And then Balin looks out in the great distance. He sees that flashing light, whatever the hell that may be. Very excited for where this is going. And then Sabine now getting more in touch with the Force. Thought she saw something out in the distance. Ahsoka tries to see it. Doesn't see much. And I think when I tell you, I don't think I've screamed at a Star Wars show. And I don't know if ever. I don't know. I don't know if
Grabbed
ever.
me as well.
I did grab them. I just loved that scene. They turn away, the music is hitting, and we see the outline of a Force ghost. And who is it but none other than your boy.
Obi-Wan.
Shut the fuck up. Anakin motherfucking Skywalker.
Yep, the Force Ghost.
Beautiful.
Which means that lead to them using him in season 2?
Yes.
I
Yes,
mean,
it does.
they might not. They could.
They are.
It's not a guarantee that they will.
It's a guarantee.
Why is it a guarantee? He's already a Force
Guaranteed.
ghost. He been a Force.
Guaranteed.
He been a Force ghost the entire time.
They were never in tune like that. But if this is the birthplace of the Force, it would stand to make sense that the Force is really strong on this planet.
If this is
You know, it took Obi-Wan
wait,
years.
that's confirmed. This is the birthplace of the Force.
I said if, because if this planet has a giant mountain carved in the shape of the father and the brother and the sister, it stands to show that there are origins or ties to the origins of the Force on this planet,
or
So
that
they
were
just-
worshipped by the Night Sisters,
or that.
or that they were worshipped by the. Oh gosh, we didn't get an explanation, so that they can go either way with that. This is
There's
either the
there's too
birthplace-
many conveniences on this planet.
There are too many, and like Balin said that he felt like he was being called by something. I will admit, I kept saying that I thought the planet was dying, and that's why the Night Sisters were wanting to leave. That's why the Great Mothers were aligned with Ron, and they were like, "We have to go," or that there was some other big bad on the planet that scared the Great Mothers. They're like, "We can't take this on. We gotta go." We did not find out at the end of the season, so hopefully when season 2 rolls around, they give us a little bit more explanation of that.
I am hyped. I'm just gonna throw that out. I'm hyped.
Does
I'm
this
It's such a long way to wait.
what's the immediate follow up to this? Is it the Filoni movie or yeah, like what comes after this?
I think it's the Skeleton Crew comes next.
Ew. Oh god. Yeah,
Okay,
I guess.
strong opinion there.
Yeah, pretty sure it's the Skeleton Crew.
So no indication of when the movie is.
No,
I
and
imagine
don't-
these pieces that he's laying out, you're not gonna get them until the movie.
I don't know, because again, at this point, I've been saying this, and we could start wrapping this up now. I think this Filoni verse would stand to. I think it would be better as a Game of Thrones type of series where it's just one show, and we're gonna check in with all these characters. And if one episode wants to focus on Ahsoka and Sabine, then let it be. If another episode is gonna focus on Mando and what he's got going on to the greater plot, let it be. I feel that is the route they need to take at this rate, because if these are all the pieces, if we have all the pieces, just now start showing them versus, Mando season 3, I'm telling you right now, felt like filler. While this just served. This Ahsoka series served consistently. And if there's more to strictly tell within this story, by all means, give us a season 2. But if this is all just one big culmination project, just put it all in one place, like Game of Thrones. Again, Game of Thrones did it perfectly, albeit later seasons. But I think Star Wars could benefit from a style of storytelling like that.
But it seems
Like the world is so vast that you can
they're
actually do
introducing
that.
each character on their own and then tying them in for the big culmination. That's the route
That's if that's the route, and then I'm gonna need less filler in some places.
Well, everything can't be top tier. Everything can't be top tier.
Everything can be purposeful. It doesn't have to be top tier. A lot of Mando season 3 did not feel purposeful, and I mean, I'm only comparing it because that was the latest Star Wars outing.
Boba Fett was only Mandalorian season 2.5.
Here's the thing. The Boba Fett story did not need to be told.
Oh,
And I feel as though this is where I've said this before, not on the pod, but I feel as though Star Wars has this issue of they have interesting characters that we want to know more about, but not every character needs to have a movie. Not every character.
You're
needs to
telling
have
me
a
you
show.
did not want Han Solo the movie?
No, and I didn't watch it for that very purpose. Like it would have been
A Chewbacca movie. How about that?
But the thing
I'll
is,
give
we
you
don't
that.
need to know any more about those characters. Okay, cool. We met them. He's a smart. We got it. We're fine. the fact that you go ahead and give us this movie for what purpose?
The
Who asked for
Lando
it?
show's coming out.
Who
Oh,
again?
V,
who
you're
asked
gonna
for
love
it?
that one.
You know what? I want to say something. I don't want to get canceled, but what I will say,
It's a free
again,
platform. Speak your
it's
mind.
not asked for. But if they were going to do, like, if they're going to give us a show about Lando, is it young Lando?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so then
Donald
there was
Glover.
Donald Glover.
There's
yeah.
no need for a solo movie. You could just have Han and Lando, Solo and Lando, something like that, and just give us little stories about what they went through in their life. Who asked for a Lando show? Nobody. Who needs it? Nobody. What does it contribute to the overall? Nothing.
It tells you how he went to Cloud City.
No one cares.
Oh.
No one cares. No one asked the question.
What they are doing in the Filoni verse, and specifically Ahsoka, is what the fans have been asking for, but did not know is what they needed. This right here.
Take a beloved, somewhat obscure character, give them a little bit more depth, give us a little bit more expansion of the lore, and we're good with that. It worked out great with this, taking established characters and trying to give us a little bit more background on it. It does not work out that well.
They just use them for the familiarity to explore
And we don't
other
need that.
corners of the Star Wars universe.
Star Wars relies too much on the familiarity and what things that they've done before. It's almost like they're scared to test the waters and go out and do something different because they're not sure how fans are going to react. But looking at the track record, we react pretty well with it. We're kind of sick of the tried and true.
Best live action Star Wars series, 9 out of 10.
And notwithstanding, apparently.
Oh, still haven't watched it.
Exactly.
So I haven't watched.
Exactly.
Oh, Andor.
Yeah.
So pretty much out of the ones I've watched, because I have not watched Andor, Ahsoka for sure is one of the strongest. I still like Mandalorian more, but this is like a very strong show, and I think it's a step in the right direction when it comes to Star Wars and actually portraying how vast the universe is and really exploring the mythos. And I love the artistic freedoms that they took in this show. I really like them, even as someone who didn't see Clone Wars show, Rebels, all that tie in with Ahsoka. I was able to thoroughly enjoy it, and wait like week in for each new episode to pop in. So I would what?
Oh, hey, 9 p.m. release times. I love it.
Nino thought that they dropped at 3 a.m. And I was like, how do you think we watched this last week? Did we wait till 3 a.m.? And he's like, oh, I forgot. So shout out to you, Nino.
I give it.
Can't read a clock.
So before this pod, I was gonna give it like a 7.8-ish. I think, yeah, very specific. I was like leaning more towards the 8. I think I'll give it like an 8.5.
Respectable.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, every episode did not drop below an 8. Even episode 1, where I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
For me,
consistent.
episode 1 was good. It was very good. Episode 2 and 3 for me were the weakest, and then it picked up again in 4, 5, and 4 and above. Like
Fair.
For me, 2 and 3 for me were like the weakest episodes that I really felt that like nothing was happening. And then like 4 is like, okay, here we go. So, but overall, something that I was very afraid of with Ahsoka, and this is because Disney series do this a lot. I'm not even going to say like the MCU, I'm going to say Disney. Pacing is an issue with a lot of these Disney shows, and Ahsoka actually had pretty good pacing.
Fantastic pacing.
It actually had very good pacing, and that was something that I was most afraid of, especially when I saw 8 episodes, and then at episode 3, it was kind of like there. I was like, oh, please don't. But they did it good.
Dr. Jace?
Before the pod, I was at a 5.
Shut the hell. No.
What? What's wrong with that?
And finish your thought, please. Go ahead. Just finish.
Wait, no, you interrupted me, so now you have the floor.
Finish your thought. Just finish your thought. Go ahead.
I was at a 5 out of 10. I thought portions were mid, but after talking about it, I think I'm at like a good 6. A good 6.
He's bullshitting. That's okay. Playing games, I see.
It's an 8. It's an 8. I'll give it an 8. I still have problems with it. I honestly more or less was sitting at like a 7.5 to a 7. Those annoyances with like they had a new galaxy they came to. It didn't really do anything new with it outside of introducing like a crab people species and the samurai looking nomads. And they were just on that one planet. Just, yep, we gotta go. We gotta leave now. What Catwoman V?
I was gonna say, but like if they had hopped around to a different planet in the last couple of episodes, would that have felt like the story was being told well, or what? Given that,
well, we're only given the
conflict
story
was
that we had because as soon as they got here, now the gears have shifted to we gotta leave immediately because Thrawn is getting off this planet. We gotta chase him, otherwise we're stranded. So the plot was written to basically get here and not let it really simmer because now we have to leave. We're in a new galaxy still, I guess, with Sabine and Ahsoka. They're stranded. I don't even think we even touched on that. They're stuck there. They're stuck there for the foreseeable future. I would just think, can't Ahsoka just call the damn space whales? But no,
Well,
I guess not.
she didn't call them the first time, did she? They just happened to be there, and she's
They're en route.
They're in
migration.
They're in sync with each other. But I mean, either way, yeah.
Might not want to come back.
I guess they're stuck there. Which then leads it to, okay, well, I guess we have to explore this galaxy now. But judging from here, I don't like what they did with the galaxy, and I don't like what they did with Ezra just chilling there. Because that was my main motivation, like getting into the series. I was looking forward to the mystery of what's Ezra been doing this whole time. Is he alive? Is Thrawn alive? What's he been doing this whole time? And what's this new galaxy? What are they going to introduce in a new galaxy? That's what I was looking forward to. I didn't really get it in this, so the max I would give is an 8, and that's me being overly generous. I should give it a 7, but it's fine. It's fine as is. I do not think it's the best Star Wars live action.
To each their own.
To each their own.
I gotta say, I had not really considered the whole Ezra thing, what he's been up to for the past couple of years, because I really did not think that Thrawn and Ezra were going to be found. I swear again that I thought that Morgan was kind of just like BSing these imperialists. I thought she was just trying to like get back to the Dathomiri homeworld and was just kind of like using them. I didn't think that this was going to be a thing. The fact that it turns out to be a thing begs the question of how long is Thrawn a big bad before does he actually help to establish the order or not? Like,
yes,
when
he
do they
does.
actually
I think
when do
he
they
does.
take him out? Because I mean, I don't know if this is something that's going to be talked about later, but I know that we've discussed it before that I don't remember hearing Thrawn's name mentioned in the new trilogy.
It's not.
So
Again,
Nothing. is
J.J. Abrams
mentioned.
doesn't pull
Well-
anything from anything good.
and I've said it before, I think this is part of the problem that Star Wars has. They have an end result, and then now they're retconning, trying to explain how they got to the point that they got. So they've made Thrawn this big villain, this big threat, which of course he was. And it stands to reason that they did have a credible reason to be fearful of him because of how great of a tactician he was and how much trouble he gave them. So I understand it, but given that they did not, he's not in the new trilogy. He's not mentioned as even like the founder of or helped us establish this. And I was going to say even if they had floated the name Snoke at the end of this episode.
Oh God, I
lay,
would no delete.
Like if they were trying to lay the groundwork of anything of like, oh, we gotta somehow tie into the new trilogy, I would have been a little bit more on with it. But now it just kind of like leaves the question of what is the point of Thrawn if he's not going
I
to
think
be there.
You need to understand Filoni, from what we've seen with Star Wars and what he does with Star Wars, he very much carves his own path up until the very last minute where he has to tie it back.
And that's all well and good, but they are working with a certain amount of time.
They have decades.
He is not
here's the thing.
worried about
time in Star Wars is like, inconsequential because you can never really keep track of the math. But the problem is they have, what is the point of Thrawn is my question, and I'm very impatient to figure it out because if they didn't mention him at all.
I'm gonna tell you this, you gotta separate it, because J.J. Abrams and his little crew were not looking at the greater Star Wars universe.
And again, part of the problem with Star Wars as a franchise, they always do this to themselves.
No. That's what he did.
But now it's a consequence that the rest of the Star Wars franchise has to abide by. I see what V is saying.
There is a buy, but you're going to, I think, ruin part of this journey if you keep. Filoni is here. Abrams is here.
Wow.
It doesn't matter where they are in their storytelling abilities. This is the end result. We have to.
But that's what I'm saying is, if you keep thinking that Abrams never mentioned him, of course, yes, he never mentioned him because he's never going to mention any of the greater Star Wars universe because he did not do it right. His goal was to essentially recapture the hearts and minds of Star Wars fans by giving you the same old stuff. He did not carve a new path. Filoni will play this game of tie-in where he has to play the game of tie-in. But with that said, and his track record shows, he does a fantastic job at exploring more aspects and parts of the mythos within that time frame. He hasn't failed yet.
I'm not expecting him to fail. I'm just saying we're in the early stages of the New Republic, but the idea that we've got this big bad that they're fearful of, we somehow have to see the New Republic fall and the Order rise, and this big bad that they are fearful of doesn't get mentioned at all. But then of course the big bad that is actually in the trilogy isn't even floated yet as being a potential character. I have questions. I have a lot of questions, but whatever. I am a very impatient person when it comes to this, so it is what it is.
I think we will get our answers. I believe Skeleton Crew should be the next one up.
Not the Acolyte.
Well, the Acolyte is its own thing because that's Old Republic.
Oh wait, no, that's High Republic, yeah. I think.
Yeah, High Republic, Old Republic, whichever one. It's not. I mean, it's years before, so I don't see how it could be tied.
Is it necessary?
In.
No,
it'll be cool because we've never seen.
I don't doubt it'll be cool or good or whatever, but is it necessary? You're spending a bunch of time on.
I mean, nothing's necessary. At the end of the day, it's content for streaming.
Consume your content.
This is what I mean. Star Wars, they pump out so much content, and whether or not it's relevant, whether or not it's canon, it causes problems.
This, I imagine, will be fine. It is probably the most far removed from any of the main stories. I think it'll be fine. However, yes, the Acolyte does drop in. I believe it's slated for 2024. Skeleton Crew will be the next in the Filoniverse. I don't think we have word on Mando season 4. But I imagine if production starts next year, we will see it probably 2025. And then with that said, I don't know where Ahsoka falls. We might be in the dawn of a new age for Star Wars series. Andor season 2 is also, I think, supposed to drop in 2024.
Oh God.
I think that's it as far as the extent. Andor season 2, because that was
what
filming
V was
this
asking
year.
For.
So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the Star Wars as far as the future is concerned. But I think that's it for us here on Ahsoka. Yes, we're good.
We're good.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, folks, listen, Ahsoka, all 8 episodes are out now on Disney Plus. Some will call it the best Star Wars live action series. Some will call it a great live action Star Wars series. Some will say it needs more. We need more. It's here. Take what you can, give nothing back. But that is it from us here at the Yonko table. I am your host, Grandmaster Hoop, fellow Yonko, Dr. Jace Attorney, Supernovas, Dr. Mondo, and Catwoman V. Thank you again for listening to us today as we explore the series as a whole. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch with Dr. Jace on Twitch. And of course, if you ever feel the need to join our discussion that you heard today, please click the link below. Join our Discord and join the discourse, and we'll gladly duke it out with you. But with that said, we're signing off. How should we end this thing? Star Wars quote.
Do it.
That is not Star Wars related at all.
Do it is not Star Wars related at all.
No, he's singing Out of the Box.
Out of the box. Out
farewell
of the
from here.
box.
It has nothing to do with Star Wars.
It's Disney. It's close enough.
That is not. I hate you.
The hell
What
was
is that?
I hate you. That's Anakin.
I couldn't even
pick something
decipher that. That sounded like a squirrel.
You are my brother, Anakin.
You didn't want to say I have the high ground.
I have the high ground.